Welcome back to Channel 1 2 Boys. I hold down here for another video on the YouTube channel. We're going to be doing some more Reddit stories because I find them very fun to do. They're addicting, and we're going to be consistent in 2026. We're going to be uploading more often to the 3 people that are concerned about that. But it's going to be something I want to challenge myself to do. We're going to get right back into being consistent on the YouTube channel, and I think 2026 is going to be a great year. And if you're watching this in 2028, what a disaster 2026. No, I'm kidding. Knock on wood. Either way, a bunch of stories to talk about from the Best of Reddit updates thread on Reddit because I love solutions and answers, and I hate sometimes reading a Reddit story and it's like the juiciest story ever, and then you never find out what happens. They never give you an update, and then you're just left in the void wondering, what happened, sir? What happened to your whole solution and your problem and everything in between? I don't know. I don't know, Harry. I don't know what that was, but either way, fair warning, I am reading this off of my phone, and my phone, oh my God, my eye holes, because I wear contacts and I have very bad glasses, or very bad eyes and glasses and contacts, everything in between. My prescription's a mess, but either way, sometimes reading be hard on these tiny screens, and I would prefer it not to be in dark mode and just read off of light mode, if that makes sense, but I can't fix that on my phone for some reason. So if you notice me struggle, it's because things have gotten incredibly blurred. And I don't know if I got to get that analyzed by a doctor, but either way, we'll jump right into it. So this is from Am I the Hassle? Am I the David Hasselhoff? Either way, am I the asshole for sleeping with my sister's boyfriend? But it's not what it sounds like. So my sister, 26-year-old female, is dating and soon to be engaged to myself, a 25-year-old female, and ex-boyfriend who's 26, who's a male. I know he's planning on proposing, or was, as I was helping him. When I was 16, I dated my sister's now boyfriend for about 6 months. It wasn't a super serious relationship, but as most teenagers do around that age, we had sex. We did it a few times, but nothing obscene. The relationship ended. This is going to be my struggle word, amicably. Close enough. There were no harsh feelings, and we remained friends throughout high school and college. Now, when my sister was around 23, she moved back to our hometown a year or so after college, and he was living here also. They began to spend time together, and she asked if it would bother me if they began to date. I had absolutely no problem with it and told her there were even absolutely no weird feelings, and I didn't even consider him a serious relationship as it was nearly 10 years ago. Damn! A whole decade. They've now been dating for the past 3 years, and he plans to propose and even has asked for my help. Now, the actual conflict. About a week ago, my sister and I, her boyfriend, and a few of our mutual friends went out to dinner, and during the conversation, my sister made a joke about he better propose soon because she was starting to feel like a, quote, old maid, in parentheses, her words. What does that even mean? So I asked her what she meant. Oh, okay, we're gonna get some answers. And she said they were both saving themselves for marriage. I don't get how either two are intertwined. Nonetheless, we'll continue to read. So he's saving herself. I asked her if she meant in just this relationship or if she was saving herself, period. She said they had both been saving themselves their whole life. I gave her boyfriend a strange look from across the table, and she caught it. She asked why I looked at him weird, and I said it was nothing and tried to move past it. She insisted I tell her why because she thought I was judging them. I confess that we had sex in high school, although it didn't really mean anything. I just like how that's the conversation going on at like a local Chili's. Like, hey, I know you're getting married to your now fiance or hopefully potential fiance, your boyfriend right now, but I f***ed him and f***ed him a couple times. And it's cool now, but we've had deep, wild I don't even know if I can upload this. She got mad at him first for lying, and somehow he managed to convince her that it never happened, and then she got mad at me for making this stuff up. Direct quote, trying to sabotage our future marriage because you're not Abraham? I told her I was. In fact, I completely am over him. And that's why I was not lying, and they both got up and eventually left. My friends know I was telling the truth, and I have tried to contact her and back me up. They've tried to contact her. She hasn't answered any of them and has texted me the day after saying I wouldn't be invited to the future wedding if I didn't admit to lying. I do feel really bad and wish I hadn't said anything or lied about why I look at him, but I felt I owed it to her because she's my sister and he was definitely lying. Should I have handled it differently, not have told her at all, etc.? Am I the asshole? How are you the asshole at all in this situation? Homie's clearly been leading your sister on and pretending that he's this golden goose, have never put my meat in anyone else, okay? This man has probably had his meat all over your local town. He's been no bread, no water, just meat. That's his lifestyle, is his whole motto, okay? He has been places across the country and he's been everywhere. Not you though. That's where he draws the line. He's got no desire to do that. No, I just think this is so upsetting because clearly he has been lying this entire time. And if he had sex around maybe 16 and there's been a long gap and then there was 10 years before eventually her sister comes back and then they start dating, I just feel like he's probably been around a little bit and there's nothing wrong with that. He just has to be honest. And like if he was upfront and honest from the start, I mean like, hey, I like you a lot and you like me a lot and maybe we have some philosophical differences, but I'd like to continue to go out with you. You seem really great, but here's my history. I'm gonna own up to it. And she probably would have been able to accept you for that. And then you could have had the ground rules of this new relationship, if you really have to, is to be like, hey, listen, we're not gonna have sex with each other. We're gonna keep it sacred between us until we're married, and to each their own. That's cool for you. But I feel like he could have just been honest. Clearly, he's been doing some other things in his life and he is lying, which makes me think possibly, and I don't really know much about the guy, but if he's already lying at the start of the relationship, he's probably been lying during the relationship. So there's a high likelihood that he's been around the block with a bunch of other ladies before he even got to you. So that's a bit of a bummer and that's rough. So we'll get into the update here. So far, not the asshole. But I do also I just feel there's some things like I can't get over. Like I can't date somebody that has the same name as like a sibling or a cousin like that. It's an immediate no. And I also think the idea of dating someone that's been with a sibling, I'm good on that. I don't think I need to explore that. Like I'm sure homie, great person, shawty, great person, right? But I don't need that. You guys have done what you've done. And I don't need to do what you guys have done because you've done that. You've had your story. This story with me and you, no, not happening. Zero shot. So here's the update. Okay, so I'm going to start off with some context to clear up some confusion I was seeing. My sister and I grew up kind of religious with pretty old-fashioned parents, which explains the whole waiting till marriage thing. So this is probably super important for her. I didn't really buy into any of the religious stuff, but my sister did, not quite as much as my parents, but definitely more than me. They always told us wait till marriage, but I clearly did not listen to them, and I guess it never occurred to me that my sister probably did. The reason she never knew about us sleeping together is because I didn't tell her, because I thought she might tell my parents and I didn't want to deal with them. Valid. The reasons I didn't know she was waiting is because she's always been one to keep that kind of thing to herself, and it is very set on having her own privacy. Now, when I say that we weren't in a serious relationship in high school, it's because I'm a firm believer that no high school relationship is that serious. We also both knew that we weren't planning on staying together forever. We only slept maybe 2 or 3 times. And I don't think that's serious, even for teenagers. Oh, Jesus, can we get to the update? So when my sister asked if it'd be okay with them dating, she specifically asked if I would find it weird or uncomfortable. And I told her as long as she wasn't bothered by the fact that we used to be a couple, I had no reservations. I feel like that could have been a moment like, listen, your boyfriend's been inside me. She said that she didn't mind at all, which I mistakenly took as she knew we slept together and didn't care. This could have been avoided. I'd always known him to be pretty truthful, and I never took it to mean that he was actually completely lied to her. At dinner, the 3 of us were sitting at one end of the table and having the argument very quietly, so my friends didn't know what was happening until they got up and left. Otherwise, they would have defended me there. After I confessed that we slept together, he said something along the lines that it never happened, And I don't know why she would lie. I insisted I wasn't lying, but I also wasn't trying to be hurtful. He said some BS about maybe there's talk of marriage that made me jealous, stirred up old feelings. That's why my sister then turned on me, and that's why they then left. Now, to the update. Thank God! My sister came over this morning, and we had a conversation and made some amends. She told me that he had proposed a few days ago, but she hadn't told anyone because what I said still was weighing on her. She said that last night she went through his phone and found out that he's been cheating on her repeatedly. Duh! Oh, Jesus, I'm just blowing out your ears. For most of the relationship, and that he slept with people before they were together. She confronted him this morning, and they had a huge argument where he said that the reason he lied is because he knew it was important to her that they were both virgins, and she wouldn't have stayed with him if she found out that he wasn't the one he really said he was. She thankfully did not believe him, and so he tried to get her back. She wasn't having it. She said no. She came straight over to apologize and to hear my side of the story. I asked her why she blindly believed him and left the restaurant and wouldn't answer me, and she said she was embarrassed because waiting till marriage has always been a big deal to her, and she didn't want to believe that he wasn't committed to her as she was to him. I, of course, accepted her apology, and we both decided to move past it and always trust each other. She's also decided she's going to take some time to reconsider the values that are most important to her. All I know is now our ex is totally the asshole. And please don't say anything rude about my sister. I love her a ton, and she just had a weak moment. Okay, so it's good that both the sisters had like a fair adult reaction to this. Like the sister was able to figure things out, go through the phone, and realize that homie is a scumbag. And she was able to go to her sister and apologize. I think that is the key part here. It's like sometimes you hear these stories and like the sister or the other person involved in the story gets caught and they realize that they messed up, but they don't apologize. And I think this says a lot about their dynamic, that they're able to trust each other. They're able to go to each other and just be like, listen, I messed up and maybe I shouldn't have trusted him, but that's on me. I've learned my lesson. This guy's a scumbag, and let's make a promise to never date the same guy ever again. I think this is a nice life lesson. I think that we've all learned collectively. I don't know who all is, but I think that is today's lesson. If there's anything I can teach to you, is that if your sibling has dated another sibling's person, or there's no cross-contamination, I think that's the lesson. How about that? We've really gotten down to the nitty and gritty of conclusions, and obviously the people of Reddit agreed as well. They're not the asshole. Clearly this guy is. And we move on to our next story. Alright, so moving on to our next story. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend to go and ask to be adopted by the couple she's so obsessed with? I'm sure this guy is great to be around. So, we'll hop right into it. My girlfriend Katie made a new friend a few months ago, Mary. Katie talked about her a lot. Mary said this, did that, started teaching her some things, etc. I thought it was a bit weird how much Katie seemed to look up to Mary, but I didn't think much of it until Mary's husband, Joe, entered the picture too. From then on, Katie talked about the relationship all the time, how they do things, how they divide chores, how respectful they are to each other, basically how they are just the best couple ever. I like how that's the descriptor for best couple ever, is just respecting each other and doing the chores. The bar is ridiculously low, and whenever this was made. So I've met them too, and they're honestly nothing special, maybe even a bit on the boring side. Yesterday evening, Katie was once again going on about them, saying things like Mary and Joe are true soulmates, and theirs the healthiest relationship she'd ever seen, blah, 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 blah. I had a really fucking long day at work. This guy is such a prick. So I told her I don't want to hear about them. I don't care about her creepy crush on this random ass couple, but she likes them so much she should go and ask to be adopted by them, or they can be their third. Katie then gave me the cold shoulder and left to go to her home apartment instead of sleeping at my place like she was supposed to. I need to know if I'm in the right and her obsession is creepy, or I'm not seeing something right and I'm the asshole here. Am I the asshole? Okay, sometimes when I hear or read some of these stories, you type this out or on your phone, right? You read over this, I imagine, right, at some point, just to make sure there are commas and periods and things like that. And the idea that you read this over, you've typed this out and hit send, you posted it, and you thought people would be on your side? You're such a prick. Like, she's clearly telling you these are the signs of a great couple, and you're not getting the hint, bro. Like, these are the things you should be doing. She should be like in her mind, she's like trying to, I guess, respectfully say, man, I wish you would like do the chores or like respect me, because clearly the way he talks about her in this story as well, zero respect for his girlfriend at all. Like absolutely none. So the idea that he's just there typing this out, is like, man, I'm gonna show this to her later and everyone's gonna realize how terrible my girlfriend is, where you're the clear asshole here. This is just so annoying. And I think the only solution, which I think is always a solution on Reddit stories, is break up, divorce, leave, kill him. Not murder's bad, but I will say it seems like this guy needs to do a lot of maturing, and he's not getting the hint that he needs to, I guess, step up in this relationship and maybe treat his girlfriend with respect, and maybe from time to time, might be a hot take, wash some dishes, take out the trash, vacuum the house. So obviously the verdict as well on Reddit's before the update was indeed asshole. We're here. He does have an update, so we'll get a conclusion to their story. So update, she finally texted me back. She wrote a long ass message saying that she had tried everything with me and she thought if I was patient and clear about her needs, I would eventually change for her. But she realized, thanks to Mary and Joe, it's not her job to raise a man and get her boyfriend to respect her more. She wrote a lot of other things about Mary too, like that Mary's truly proud of her husband and looks up to him. Meanwhile, she, Katie, can't find it in herself to look up to me in anything, and so on. So yeah, I hope you all are happy you got what you wanted. He did not learn a single thing from this entire interaction at all. He got dumped, deservingly so, and the message didn't register upstairs. In the brain department, there's nothing up there. It's just clouds and like worms inside of his brain. I don't understand how he had those conversations with his then ex-girlfriend, or now ex-girlfriend, and she lays it out for him. Like, I cannot raise you. You need to step up and you need to just grow up. And he heard that and it was like, damn, that's a long ass message. And thanks, Reddit, you got what you wanted. How does he not take just like a single ounce of accountability and be like, damn, you know what? I was kind of messed up to my girlfriend. Or you know what? Maybe I need to step up in other ways and support my girlfriend in different avenues. And I'm not even saying like bro needs to be a CEO. It seems like all he needed to do was respect his girlfriend and he would still had said girlfriend. Maybe if he just washed a couple dishes from time to time, he would still have said girlfriend. Instead, he's on Reddit being an absolute scumbag. All right, for our final story, we're gonna try to breeze through this because your boy's gotta clock in, okay? So either way, boyfriend, 35 male, says my cooking proves I'm 29 female, not a gold digger. Jesus Christ. So I've been with my boyfriend for 4 months. He is a lawyer and it's a very stressful job. To give a backstory, things were amazing at the beginning. He took me to fancy restaurants, cooked me dinners by candlelight, and I could tell he was very nervous about making a good impression. He would kiss me from head to toe and tell me I'm perfect, his princess, etc., etc. It was honestly a bit much. Over time, he became more short-tempered and needed my attention a lot more. I slowly began cooking while he was too busy working to help. Then, he could only have sex for 45 minutes before going back to work. What is happening? So one night I joked that he could only have sex if he worked for it, and he became greatly upset and told me I had crossed a major boundary. Things started to get a little weird. He told me he doesn't usually date women who work in marketing. I work in marketing, but it seemed like he made an exception for me. Then sometimes he would power call me if I didn't answer right away 4 to 5 times in a row. I learned a new phrase. Also, what is the specific hang up on like, I cannot date people in marketing? That's bizarre. So he started, let's see, things got a little weird. He told me he doesn't, okay. We got to that point. He started becoming a bit jealous. Example, I mentioned Zach Galifianakis is funny and my boyfriend's face turned completely dark. I had a friend paint me nude and my boyfriend said, I don't know how I feel about someone seeing my woman naked. I mentioned an ex-boyfriend and he wanted to know what school he went to and he became super defensive and aggravated. Okay, listen, we're like halfway through. You've been dating for a few months, break up. Like you already see the signs that he's just a douchebag. I don't understand why and maybe he's got a fancy job. I don't care what life a human being can provide for you. If he's already like this a couple months in, move on. Like, get back on Hinge, go on Tinder, go on some of those freaky apps, do anything but stay. We already have the solution. This guy's already in the wrong. I don't know, we haven't even gotten to the point of the question. I don't even know if this is an am I in the wrong? Either way, sometimes at night I turn my phone onto airplane mode and my boyfriend explains it makes me feel disconnected and unsafe, and could I please check in and check out before doing so? What? From my understanding, I thought we were dating until one day he talked about partnerships and his needs, etc., etc. Finally, he stated he's paranoid about gold diggers. He said because he has a high-income job, he doesn't want women who will only request fancy restaurants. He said it's good that I cook for him because it proves that I'm not a gold digger and that I'm not like those other women. The thing is, I don't always want to cook, but now I feel kind of guilted about it. He became a little bit weird about communication, and he will literally say, okay, I expect to hear from you by 6 p.m. He said he needs our partnership to be organized and predictable. He needs to know I will respond in a certain time frame, and if I can't do that, it won't work. I found these exchanges very bizarre, and boyfriends becoming very controlling. Okay, months in. This isn't 20 years in. This is months in. Live! What are we doing? This relationship, I don't understand what goes through human beings' minds sometimes. This is not going to work. Cut ties. It's a wrap. Throw it in the trash. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Don't even date, actually. Don't. Because you get some higher standards. I don't care how high paying the job is. It's not worth it. Oh my God. I just wanna, either way. So, hi, my first post here. So, holy shit, balls, mother of pearl, what the fuck was that relationship? We broke up shortly after I posted in that forum. By the end, things had become so bad that even I, insecure and needy, didn't have the patience anymore. He needed me to comply with all of his rules, listen to his work problems, talk to him through his anxiety attacks, cater to him sexually. It was too much. When we broke up, he told me how devastated he was and how important I was to him. He was manipulating me by saying we can only be friends and that we should just meet to test the waters. It was just the most confusing time in my life. He started to create weird communication rules after the breakup, saying I need space, I cannot talk now, contact me in 2 weeks because he needed to heal. But then he would call me and tell me about his work problems and how I got a raise, etc., etc. Then he would flip to the other side, angrily tell me, I never want to be in a relationship with you ever again. I want to see other people. We are over forever. You know what happened? Question mark and all bold. So I woke up, I realized that this man has serious issues that have absolutely nothing to do with me. Well, no shit, Reddit lady. That wasn't obvious from the first time you had freaking met each other. Sometimes stupid people just end up doing stupid things. I think she's stupid. I think maybe she just needs to look herself in the mirror and realize she's got more value to herself, because it's just like, I don't understand. We're months in and she's just like, why are you trying to make it work? You already know it's not gonna work. Please. So I can honestly say it was like being sucked into a freaking vortex, and we only dated for 7 weeks. I thought it was like months. Exhausting, but all your comments truly helped me. You have no idea how many times I read them, pretty much every day. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving on and feeling strong. Wow. You know what? I feel like something's just telling me somehow she's gonna end up talking to this guy again. I don't know what it is. I feel like some people just fall into that trap, and it feels like she's gonna be stuck in that vortex. So hopefully not. Hopefully she's officially moved on. But this was an absolute nightmare to read. Disastrous. I hated everything about that last one. That I cannot fathom just being, throw it through a table. Throw him through a table. I don't know. I think maybe she just needs to look herself and just say, you know what? I'm worth it. I don't need to deal with this. And we'll leave it at that. That's been Reddit Stories. We got to 3 of them today. What a time to be live. And your boy's gonna clock back into work here. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, or don't, because this is probably terrible. But reading's hard, and a lot of things we'll learn today. Goodbye.